Now, this is how tight the NBA Finals are this year. I mean, any of the six superstars can impact the game. Any 6, 7 of them. Goat King LeBron James and his ability to not allow the Nets defense to force turnovers can impact the game. LeBron James' own shooting performance can impact the game. These one or two buckets, a difference of 54, 57% versus 50% for the field. Go King LeBron James and his ability to set up teammates. Anthony Davis and his ability to hit free throws, to be clutch mid range, hitting that 3-pointer. Dwight Howard could impact the game with this ability to allow second chance points that could make the difference. If you have a red hot Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden, I mean, what a tough ass NBA Finals this is for Go King LeBron James. He is going to be dealing with so much space on the perimeter from the other team. He's doing with their ability to shoot at such a high percentage, being able to create all that space for them. I think it's not about LeBron James' ability to be clutch and to have help around him. It's LeBron's ability to set up his teammates and setting up defensively and setting up as a court general that is going to win and lose this series. It's all up to how LeBron sets up his team against the Brooklyn Nets. If LeBron allows his team to have good looks, being able to set up teammates anytime he can at a better rate, then that's good. Because the fact is LeBron does much of the work setting up his other shots when he's not shooting them. LeBron's player efficiency rating, his PER, is as high as it is along Shaq and Michael Jordan. Now, the real truth is that when we talk about PERs, Kobe is actually pretty low on the list because Kobe thinks he needs to force the issue when he's not shooting well, when the team is not doing well. He has to do it all by himself to shoot his team to victory, but that's never what Michael Jordan did, according to Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson said that when Michael Jordan wasn't shooting well, that Michael Jordan would find other avenues to help his team win, whether it's playing great defense, shutting down the main scorer, the main shooter. Michael Jordan setting up screens and rebounding and doing those things to help his team win when he's not shooting well was how Michael Jordan did. But Kobe felt that he had to outshoot the other team all the time. That's why Kobe's not an efficient player. You see, Charles Barkley is absolutely full of it when he says that LeBron played with super teams. There wasn't any repeats or three-peats at all during the 1970s. It was only at the point in time in the late 80s when the game started to change with all these repeats and all these three-peats and all these super teams because the NBA actually struggled throughout the 70s. It's super teams that made the NBA what it is. The Larry Bird Celtics and the Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Michael Jordan, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy, that kind of super team. They were Showtime Lakers back then during the day. They were marketed, they were sold. Michael Jordan in his 2 three-peats was marketed and sold. King James was marketed and sold because LeBron is not a self-proclaimed king. It is the media that came up with the term King James. LeBron didn't just sit there and call himself King James. The media did. So people are falling victim to the media's bait. It's not LeBron being arrogant and call himself King James. It's LeBron following a script for the league owners to tell LeBron to be a villain kind of guy, to mock Dirk Nowitzki during the NBA Finals, to go out and say not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 championships. I mean, LeBron's just telling what his handlers at the NBA are telling him, the 30 owners and commissioner, to get the league as scripted as it can to maximize fan interest. I think that's a big difference that there isn't a three-peat because it really changes the narrative about there being some dynastic team. 2019 finals and 2021 finals really shaped NBA history in regards to keeping fan interest in basketball. We're looking at 2019, we're looking at 2021, the lockdown in the shortened NBA offseason. If Kevin Durant's not having a bad game, LeBron's guarding him. If Kevin Durant doesn't do the job, then that may end up costing the game. If Kyrie Irving is not creating that extra 1-2 open read based on what the defense is doing to confuse his teammates, then that would end up costing the game. I think this is as tight of NBA Finals as it can because despite Michael Jordan did, there wasn't much open options outside of Carmelo and John Stockton. But when you're LeBron James and you're dealing with a team with as much of an outside inside presence, this shows that LeBron's legacy is different. That he doesn't have as good of a team as Michael Jordan did. That LeBron is winning as an underdog. Could LeBron score 50 at will like Michael Jordan can? Absolutely. But LeBron just plays the game differently than Michael Jordan. He likes to involve and set up teammates and make his team overall efficiently. Michael Jordan had to be the ultimate alpha, ultra competitor. I have to take control of the game at every cost possible. That's what Michael Jordan is. LeBron is all about not really being super aggressive offensively, but trying to see what he can do to involve teammates. It's simple as that. LeBron is all about sniffing out the opponent. I think that's what LeBron can do that's going to really elevate him on Father's Day next year. I'm not going to say LeBron's going to win every series in 4 or 5 games or whatnot. I mean, this is a great Nets team. LeBron's faced the super team Warriors. He defeated a great team. He defeated a team with 3 Hall of Famers, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Greg Popovich, Hall of Fame coach. I mean, it really shows what LeBron has done throughout his career. Game 7 against the Celtics, Game 7 against the Indiana Pacers. You can't tell me that LeBron hasn't had competition. He's had plenty of competition. People thought the Pacers were going to they caught some major finals in the conference finals. First year, the Celtics got tired, but then the Celtics had one last chance. It was a legendary finals for the ages. LeBron took over in Game 6. Who can doubt such greatness? Kobe's 6 for 24 put LeBron over the edge over Kobe. For some people, it's the 6 for 24 Game 7 for Kobe against the Celtics. Or it's the GOAT King LeBron James, Game 16, Game 7 of the 2006 NBA Finals against the team that won 73 games. LeBron had a clutch Game 7 against San Antonio Spurs. Don't remember that. In that Game 6, he was scoring bucket after bucket in the fourth quarter to get his team in there. And he was clutch in overtime. I mean, LeBron was really fantastic against the Spurs, except for a couple of possessions that people talk about when the Heat were down. It's like LeBron was the reason why they were in that game, in that situation. I was watching the Game 6. My dad was thinking that LeBron was crying too much about getting fouls that were not foul calls or whatnot. Like, he's just like, oh my God, this is a weak era. Pretty much. I mean, which way? He's not interested in basketball and all that. I don't know if the Michael Jordan retirement, if he was one of those fans versus the really the casuals versus the teams that are in the NBA, and seeing some great players that the league has produced, seeing how the Brooklyn Nets have made themselves a favorite over LeBron in terms of who people think is going to win. He's going to bring in the Donald Trump crowd after his loss. He's going to bring in his haters. He's going to bring in the lovers. He's going to bring in the social justice advocate. He's going to bring in the old school people that hate participation trophy kids like Kevin Durant. They appreciate the hard work that LeBron did to defeat the Golden State Warriors, to come in after losing the NBA Finals against the Mavericks to win. He did lose against San Antonio Spurs, but he went up such a great team that it was only because of LeBron that the Heat didn't lose that championship. That's how good the Spurs were. They're a Hall of Fame team. They're a team for legends. Look at how they handled a Cavs team without any Hall of Famers in 2007. Look at how they handled the New York Knicks. Look at how they handled the LA Lakers. I mean, the San Antonio Spurs franchise, they really did the job against some really fine teams out there. And this is a LeBron James that I feel, except for the championship against the Thunder, that LeBron has really proved the critics wrong during the day of Michael Jordan. But I do know during the day of Michael Jordan, they wanted to see Michael Jordan lose. Didn't like how cocky he was. It was a dominant team, dominating basketball. Really made some people really heated. But Michael was good for Team USA. He helped market the game to people across the world. He worship a god figure in basketball, Michael Jordan. I mean, it was the NBA owner's idea to do that to market the game across the world after the Magic Larry era. I mean, NBA's a planned Illuminati creation. It was just LeBron James after that. And that's the next guy that they're really showing is the best ever, the best of his era kind of thing. And so that's what's happening with LeBron James. But Charles Barkley needs to act like there weren't any super teams in the past. He needs to act like Kobe and LeBron. Not Kobe and LeBron, but he needs to act like Kobe and Michael Jordan. You know, ask for a trade. So they were ready to give up on their teams. Michael Jordan before they won the championship and Kobe Bryant. Those guys were about to give up. And LeBron, it was just a decision of free agents. He means business. This Cavs franchise was clogging the lane with Shaquille O'Neal. July West is not good enough. I mean, Mo Williams, really? He wasn't that good. Augustus was a serviceable big man. He was really solid starter, but he's not a superstar kind of guy that can win the championship. I mean, Drew Gooden, Larry Hughes. I remember Larry Hughes, man. He wasn't even the Cavs starting a point guard that long. I mean, Varejao was a solid bench guy. I really liked his energy. I liked his fire with the crowd. He was pretty good. I liked him. I liked Anderson Varejao. But this Cavs team was pretty bad, let's face it. LeBron was showing what he could do once he got some shooters. In LeBron style play of making good passes to the perimeter, outside, inside, really is elevated when you have 3-point shooting. So I think, some of LeBron's gifts, I'm glad it came during this era versus the 1990s. But I see Michael Jordan, he's like pulsing up. He has this little back pass behind his head to frame Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, you understand that Magic, you could say, was better than LeBron if you've seen Magic and Michael Jordan and LeBron James play. I don't know what it is about LeBron, but he can definitely make teammates better. But yes, Magic Johnson was tall, but he wasn't as athletic as Go King LeBron James, as far as I can tell. But people need to stop the madness of Kobe Bryant being better than LeBron. I mean, really, you know how Kobe Bryant plays. Michael Jordan's at 27.91 player efficiency rating. LeBron is at 27.39. This is how close they are. But you look at Michael Jordan and his better teams. That is what's helping Michael Jordan in this equation. I mean, you're definitely seeing how close this is between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I mean, they're both at 27, practically identical, with the difference being their teams and how good Michael Jordan's teams were. They won 55 games without Michael Jordan. If they didn't get screwed against the referee in the conference finals, the Bulls would have made the NBA finals against this, I think it was the San Antonio Spurs, 1999, Scottie Pippen against the Houston Rockets. Maybe in the Rockets that beat the Knicks, I think, in the 90s. I'm not sure. They beat the Magic, the first one. Maybe the second one was the New York Knicks. This is how close they are. The difference of their teams could decide how their PERs work out. Now, when you hear these retarded Kobe Bryant people, they need to realize Kobe Bryant was number 27 on the list. His player efficiency rating is explained by his assists, his lack of assists like LeBron, his poor shooting percentage according to LeBron, and not involving teammates with his assists. Stats speak volumes. Coming back in 7 games down 3-1 against the 73-win Golden State Warriors speaks volumes. Not going 6 for 7 against the Boston Celtics in a game 7 speaks volumes. When LeBron had a clutch game 7 against San Antonio Spurs speaks volumes. I know why Kobe is dead. Kobe is dead because with being remembered as not being better than LeBron James. always wanted Kobe to be alive, but Kobe recognized the truth about LeBron after 2016. His last interview, wearing a white shirt, a black tie. I mean, he knows that it was time, that this was the moment, that I have more rings than LeBron, than better than LeBron. I mean, wow. You want him to be a part of the Laker history forever. But for Kobe, it stands for his ego. It's just he wasn't able to put it to the side. He could have been alive. Sad, man. It's really sad. He overcame his shaming ritual. I don't know what happened in the hotel room. I don't know what is true, whether it's consensual or not. I'm not the judge of that. So hopefully Kobe is comfortable with how he played his career, that he had such fire to win, and you respect that, even though you think that his style is not necessarily the most efficient. This is where I'm getting with for efficiency ratings. You got to base it off of body of work, the competition, the efficiency, making teammates better off that, being efficient from the field in your shots. When you're not shooting the ball, you are getting an assist to the team. You are allowing them to get better. I mean, that is what I really love about LeBron. In this NBA Finals, I think any player has the ability to change the game. There are 6 or 7 players on the court that can change the game. Trevor Ariza and his ability to shut down the perimeter. There is as much stars out there as can be that can influence the game. This makes it difficult on LeBron James. Even Dwight Howard, if he's not rebounding, if the Brooklyn Nets are preventing second chances, and if Anthony Davis is not rebounding well, that's what I'm talking about. There's elite players left and center on the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets. Not necessarily the case between the Jazz and the Bulls. It was MJ, it was Pippen, it was Malone, it was Stockton. But you have Kyrie Irving, you have Kevin Durant, you have James Harden, you've got Russ, you've got LeBron, you've got Anthony Davis, you got Dwight Howard, you've got NBA champion Marc Gasol, you got, Kent Bazemore and his perimeter defense with Golden State Warriors up against the Warriors next year in the conference finals. Since it looks like Kyrie is out, so it's just left with the Warrior Curry bandwagon, crazy ass types that worship a guy that has a terrible shooting percentage with under 2 minutes left. That's just the facts about him. 2 of his 3 championships were super easy. And Kyrie Irving was out in the 2016 finals. Andre Iguodala won MVP over Stephen Curry. These moron Stephen Curry fans. Guys, get out of here, man, with that. Come on. He's a great player. He's the best shooter. He's better than Reggie Miller. He's better than Ray Allen, despite his poor under 2 minute statistics in the playoffs. But I'll still give him the edge over the other guys. I'm being fair. If you want to talk about Ray Allen in his 3-pointer to tie NBA Finals, this is how some people put Ray Allen over. I remember that opinion. Oh, yes, Ray Allen is better. Absolutely. Sorry. This guy, a very legendary moment. Just when you separate the greatest from the regular season. Ray Allen's the better shooter. I got to look at the body of work with the clutch shooting. LeBron's clutch in Game 7. It's Kobe Bryant failed in that Game 7. Okay. 2010 NBA Finals, that was the biggest moment that I thought could have made this a solid case that Kobe was a very clutch player, but referees bailed out Kobe 6 for 24. It was a poor game. Celtics closed them out. LeBron has been legendary in Game 7. This is what puts him above Kobe Bryant, winning more rings, 6-5. Coming back against the greatest team ever in NBA history, 73 wins. Coming back down 3-2 against San Antonio Spurs. Kobe had dominant big man. Chris Bosh was a power forward, but it's not a real big man. That really made the difference. I think This NBA Finals could potentially break the 1998 NBA Finals ratings. This would cement LeBron when people around the world and in America are watching him. That it brings everybody in to watch LeBron James against Michael Jordan. Certainly. That's how much you're bringing the haters. You think that LeBron's going to lose. The pandemic would have changed that. People feel tired. LeBron wins 2 years in the bubble and the COVID and restrictions and all that and reduced capacity, and people start to judge LeBron differently. So I think losing this three-peat is the best thing to happen to Goki LeBron James, as far as I could tell from dealing with this climatic media landscape. And what I'm Silver and Company are trying to do to maximize the interest of the game. See, I know that the show has started because the Lakers, they completely changed the narrative. That they're just not a dominant team that's going to win all the time. They're a team that people that think is going to lose. They're people that are going to think that they're an old team. This changes everything. How are the Lakers going to do? There's anxiety amongst LeBron and Laker fans and Laker haters with the team. Polarizing, dominant figures that people like to rag on. Rag on Russell Westbrook. Rag on, Dwight Howard getting swept by the Spurs, all that. Not really into the game. Thinking Trevor Ariza's past it. I mean, counting solid NBA veterans without how they do out in the court. You see any player out there has the ability to impact the game. You look at Anthony Davis and the PER ratings. LeBron needs his sidekick to play great in this NBA Finals. James Harden, number 10 PER. Kevin Durant, number 8. I mean, this is as good as it gets. Russell Westbrook, 24. Kyrie Irving, 31. LeBron is up against superstar. You look at John Stockton. Shaq at number 4. You see, he is closer to Scottie Pippen than LeBron because Shaq was closer to LeBron than Kobe is to LeBron. Just state the truth. That's what the numbers say. Which player made a bigger difference on his team at the height of their day. Kobe Bryant had some poor performances in Game 7 against the Houston Rockets in the conference semifinals, against the Boston Celtics, the NBA Finals. I mean, all of this is true. Where is John Stockton on the PER list? Magic Johnson was 15, which is fine. Tim Duncan is number 14. Charles Barkley, number 12. Abdul-Jabbar, number 13. Karl Malone, but where's John Stockton at the top of the list? Where are the Utah Jazz there? There are not many superstars on the Utah Jazz. This is what helps LeBron when he's up against tougher competition. Utah Jazz were great, but they were not that dominant like the Brooklyn Nets are. People assume the Bulls are going to beat the Jazz, but that wasn't the case when LeBron is up against the Brooklyn Nets. They think that the Brooklyn Nets are the better team overall. They got lucky against the Nets. LeBron's not going to do this again next year, but LeBron's going to come back against the Nets, but they're going to say that, the Brooklyn Nets are still going to win. That ain't going to happen. Not a chance. Get over it. Harsh as it sounds. LeBron's going to tie Michael Jordan. 6 titles. Cornet, King James, over at the place that Michael Jordan was born at, Brooklyn, New York, 25 years after 1998 in a Laker uniform. And potentially, and yes, a game-winning dunk. Game 6 of the 2023 NBA Finals over at Brooklyn, New York. We shall see when that happens. That is my gut prediction.